What's up, everybody? Now is the perfect time to hit that like button, share this video, because this is very important information that I'm going to be pulling out today. And third, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell, right? Because I am the witch finder general, Killer B. And when I got a witch, I'm burning their behinds up every damn time. So what we going to be talking about today is this Hebrew Israelite BS, right? And the sixth and seventh book of Moses. I know y'all gonna be like, what the hell is the sixth and seventh book of Moses, right? We're gonna find out today, and we're gonna find out what your Hebrew Israelite cult leader, what your Hebrew Israelite founders was doing with this book. All of them. Right? So let's start this off here. Right, for those that y'all are Hebrew Israelites that are actually in a group organization, right? Y'all call them camps today. We call them schools back in the day, right? See, I was in this movement for over 2 decades, so I know this shit, right? From this study, I've seen the stuff before, right? Not knowing what I'm looking at. There's other groups. One group particular, the last organization I was involved with, right? I wouldn't even call it an organization, but that cult leader was caught red-handed with the book on his table in a video, right? And we got some of y'all leaders, IUIC, Israel United in Christ, right? They tell you that these founders are like reincarnations of the prophets. Go ask Nathaniel. Go ask Nathaniel, is Masha King David, and see what he tell you. He'll tell you goddamn right he King David. I was in the class where he told us all he believed it. Because we believed it before. Back when I was joined, we believed it. Masha was King David. Go ask the hard for GMS, who's King David. He gonna tell you Masha. Right? And they had the other prophets with the Ariah, Yaiquab, and all them, right? And we got shout out to SOT, right? Shout out to SOT. He was the first one to hit this on what was going on in the ISUPK, the old ISUPK. And it's going on in the new ISUPK. General Yohana, ask General Yohana who's King David. He can tell you my shop. And some of y'all heard this before, right? So we're gonna get on into this, right? Oh yeah, back to old SOT. SOT, we're gonna talk about it, then we're gonna bring up SOT, right? Hopefully SOT can chime in the comment boards or something like that for this video, right? So check this out. The sixth and seventh book of Moses is an 18th and 19th century magical text, allegedly written by Moses and passed down as hidden or lost books of the Hebrew Bible. Self-described as the wonderful arts of the old Hebrews taken from the Mosaic books of the Kabbalah and the Talmud. You notice that the Hebrew Israelites would tell you, stay away from the Talmud. That's the white man book. White man, the wicked, the wicked, the Jewish man book, right? Tell you to stay away from it. Kabbalah is witchcraft, right? Stay away from it. Know why they want you to stay away from it? Because they're doing it. And once you learn about it, you can be able to identify it. It might even go out there and try to do it yourself and start your own group, right? It is actually a grimoire or text of magical incantations and seals that purports to instruct the reader in spells used to create some of the miracles portrayed in the Bible, as well as to grant other forms of good fortune and good health. The work contains reputed Talmudic magic names, words, and ideograms, some written in Hebrew, some with letters from the Latin alphabet. It contains seals or magical drawings accompanied by the instructions intended to help the user perform various tasks, from controlling weather or people from controlling weather or people to contacting the dead or biblical religious figures. Y'all heard what I said? Do I have to read this again? Intended to help the user perform various tasks from controlling weather or people to contacting the dead, that's necromancy, or biblical religious figures. Y'all go look up this book yourself. I got a copy of the PDF. Mr. Nasty, Mr. J Nasty, we're not going to say his name from the last group I was in. If y'all watch my videos, y'all know who I'm talking about, right? He tried to perform one of these rituals on a live stream to put a curse on all the people that exposed his BS that was going on in the group. We got what your book say. Have 3 or more witnesses, right? We got about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 witnesses. And with physical evidence. And eyewitnesses. Right? See these sigils, the omelets and stuff they write down? Witchcraft. Copies have been traced to 18th century German pamphlets. What? But in 1849, printing aided to the appearance of popular press in 19th century, spread the text throughout Germany, Northern Europe, and German Americans, and eventually helped popularize the text among African Americans. Nagy Springfield going to do a video on this too. Nagy Spring, I already know. Me and Nagy been talking about it for months. Nagy, it's time for you to drop that video. You know what I'm talking about, right? We're going to clean them all up. We're going to clean them all up today, right? In the United States, the Caribbean, and Anglophone West Africa. Y'all go check out Nagy Springfield channel. Y'all know who he is. It influenced European occult spiritualism as well as African American hoodoo, folk magic. The magical spiritual practices in the Caribbean and West Africa. The older magical text of 4th century Greek papyrus entitled 8th Book of Moses, otherwise unrelated to the 6th and 7th books, was found in Thebes in the 19th century and published as part of the Greek magical papyri. No first version of this work has been established, but early versions began to appear in inexpensive pamphlets in Germany in the 18th century. Elements of the 7th book, such as the 7th Sephoras of Adam and the 7th Sephoras of Moses, appear to have come from the 7th book of the earlier European copies of the Sefer Raziel Malach. The work came to wide prominence when published as Volume 6 of Das Kostler in 1849, and staggered by antiquarian John Schliebel. Historian Owen Davies traces copies of the work from the 18th century in Germany. After circulating there, the work was popularized in the United States first in the communities of the Pennsylvania Dutch. Go ahead, Nagy Springfield, with your bad self, right? Because he already been broke this down to me. Angelical German American rural folk magic, right? No, we're going to leave that because that's for Nagy right there. We're going to skip over here. African American folk magic and spirituality. The boom in inexpensive publishing and interest in spiritualism helped the work gain popularity in African American population in the United States and from the Anglophone part of the Caribbean. Now, let me tell you something about this. This time when this commandment keepers and all this shit, this Moorish science temple, these Nation of Islams, Black America was into spiritualism and into good luck charms and like my mother, right? For example, had a lot of good luck stuff, like the Lucky Rabbit's Foots, right? You had these little books. Some of y'all old school, your grandparents, y'all might still have them in their houses. These little pamphlets that tell you dream books. Like you dream about something. I dream about goddamn goddamn baked turkey. They're gonna tell you the number that coincide with a baked turkey for you to go play that in the damn numbers. In lottery numbers, right? So, or you dream about goddamn rabbits and shit. It's gonna tell you a number to play, right? Hopefully the number come out. From the 1936, so African American culture was steeped in superstition and this like don't sweep over nobody's foot. A black person will break your jaw. You rake a broom across their foot. Try it and see. Somebody about 60 something years old, put a broom across his foot, see what he do to you, right? In 1936 and 1972, the folklorist Harry Middleton Hyatt interviewed 1,600 African-American Christian root doctors and whole practitioners of hoodoo, and many of them made reference to using this book and other sealed-bearing grimoires of the era, such as the Key of Solomon. Y'all know that's straight witchcraft book. That's fucking with the Goetians and shit, nigga. That's straight witchcraft. Black magic, nigga. Let me sit and chill my language here. I'm trying to clean this up a little bit. But you know, we excited today because we gonna knock this Hebrew Israelite BS down. Because y'all walking out there thinking that y'all anti-Freemasonry, that y'all anti-idolatry, that y'all anti-witchcraft, and anti-this and anti-that. When your founders built your organization, built your movement on these things that you talk about, that you say is wicked, right? But guess what? They didn't tell you. They didn't tell you. So now you know why you a cult flunky? Now you know why I call you a cult flunky on TikTok? Why I call you a cult flunky on YouTube? Why I call you a cult flunky on Twitter? Why I call you a cult flunky on Facebook? And in your face, call you a cult flunky right in your face. The West Indies, the book became one of the central texts of Jamaican obeah. That's black magic. It was counted among the founding works of the Zion revivalist Christian movement and the Rastafari movement. Rastafari. Haile Selassie. Movement in the 20th century. The influential Jamaican musical group Toots and the Maytals, for instance, released the 1963 song 6th and 7th Book of Moses. Its lyrics list the accepted books of the Old Testament, ending in the 6th and 7th books they wrote them. Right? Do we even need to go into the folk magic and spirituality in Anglophone West Africa? I think not. We could go through it. It's not long. We could go through it. In early 20th century, British West Africa and Liberia, I'm not finished with the Hebrew Israelites. I'm not done with them. Hold on, y'all. Hit that like button. Make sure you hit the like button. The 6th and 7th book was adopted widely. It served as a source for Christian magic, both by West African spiritualist Christian cults and assimilated Africans. We wonder why old Nathaniel Ben Israel going over there to Africa and messing with the General Butt Naked. The sorcerer. The sorcerer. I wonder why IUIC made that little trip over to Africa. I wonder why. Huh? Huh? Right? In colonial Gold Coast, in Nigeria, it was seen as a Western form of magic that might be used by educated Africans seeking access to Britain or its power, much like Masonic ritual or Rosicrucianism. The Nigerian press in the 1920s regularly featured advertisements for copies of the sixth and seventh books and other Christian occult books. It was also influential in Christian occult movements, the Anglophone West Africa, and the West African religious movements that blended Christianity and traditional magic, made use of the work. Hosea Olorowo Astiliu, something like that. Seal said mysticals written incantations used in the Nigerian Church of the Lord were likely derived from the sixth and seventh books. Right? In Sweden and Finland, these books were compiled and published under the titles Den Svarta Bibeln and Musta Rabutu, respectively, meaning the Black Bible. Right? The citation needed for that, right? Right? Now, how much we got here? Dealing with astrology, right? Because you got to have all your planets in line and stuff when you doing all these rituals. Do them on certain days. Do them at certain times of the day, right? All right, let's go back up here. Right. Let me get this here. See, look. The seventh book of Moses. In much the same taking events of biblical narratives of Moses' life and other biblical and unknown stories. It gives a reputed pairing of incantations and draw a magical object, here called the tables. There are 12 tables, each said to control powers associated with certain angels, elements, and astrological symbols. The first table of the spirits of the air, second of fire, water, earth. You got Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, the 11th table of spirits, the 12th table, right? Let me go about my man. What else I wanted to get up here? All right. The printed text of 6th and 7th book of Moses comprised two purportedly lost short biblical texts with several contemporary essays and half a dozen purported writings of those who kept this knowledge and practice its use through history, dated from biblical times to the 17th century. These works attempted to paint a portrait of secret knowledge which Moses was given by God, and then handed down father to son until King Solomon. Then it was handed to priests and finally Talmudic scholars. In Christian circles, the text appealed to the same authority as the biblical Apocrypha. I wonder why they tell you to read the Apocrypha, right? The biblical text outside the current Bible canon, right? So you see here. Now look at that date. They say, right? Tied to the 17th century. I thought the Most High erased us of all our knowledge of him. Huh? He took us out the land, supposedly took our language, took our whole thought of what it is to follow this God of the Bible, right? If y'all believe Deuteronomy 28 and all that craziness in the cult, why is this telling you that? They'll say, why do we even know about this? Huh? 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 Containing numerous alleged magical spells used to summon spirits to do the will of the conjurer, right? Or the witch. The book, Mr. J and Mr. Judah Nasty. Y'all saw the video I did where I explained them fucking stupid, excuse my language, y'all, where I explained those necklaces, those charms on his necklaces that he be wearing. And that they all associated with witchcraft. It's something you can't get unless you are in a coven. I done broke down every charm on this chain in a video. Y'all gonna see it? Y'all gonna see it? Y'all see it on my channel? Enabled him to defeat the magicians of Egypt, part the Red Sea, perform the acts attributed to him in the Old Testament. Although these are allegedly Kabbalistic in nature, there is very little or no influence of Kabbalah within the pages. Most texts are reputed to be Hebrew passed to the editors through European Talmudic scholars or Christian medieval ecclesiastics who were privately to secret biblical texts. Some of the texts are allegedly translated from a text written by Canaanite musicians. Huh? And keepers of the Samaritan Pentateuch. Right now, the Canaanite magicians, if y'all go to my Facebook, you can add my Shapacha, or you can put in Killer Be the Witchfinder General. My pages come up, right? I just posted an older video that I did, right? That was it was called the Incantation Bowls of Mesopotamia, where you see Yahweh being used in magical spells. And also referring to Yahweh's or Yahweh for you the cult flunkies. He had a wife. Yahweh had a wife. And you see the names written on the bowls to perform these rituals, these spells. Either to help somebody or to jack somebody up. No complete manuscript older than Schniebel's 1849 printing are extant, and the claimed origin must be regarded pseudographic and spurious. It is rather of a school of European medieval and Enlightenment grimoires, such as the Key of Solomon, the Red Dragon, Petit Albert, and others. Elements appear directly reprinted from 3 books of occult philosophy by Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, 1531, an 18th century German translation by Gottfried Selig of the Hebrew Sefer Kamush, whatever that is, Tefillin. The vast majority of the printed works of 1849, right? The German printings of 18th, we can skip over all this, right? All these damn dates and shit, right? So, an introduction. These 2 books are revealed by God and Almighty and his faithful servant Moses on Mount Sinai. Interval Lucas in this matter also came into the hands of Aaron, Caleb, Joshua, and finally to David and his son Solomon and their high priest, Sadak. Therefore, they are Biblis Arcanorum, which means mystery of all mysteries, right? The 6 books includes introduction log with several chapters known as the mystery of the first seal through the mystery of the 7th seal. It includes pictures of the seals, consist of various stylized symbols surrounding a pseudo-Hebrew and pseudo-Latin phrases and letters. Each seal was written, right? Now, what these people do, too, this is another clue to y'all, how Arya invented this fake Hebrew Lashawan Quadash, right? And when you're dealing with witchcraft and magic, you can create your own language. You can create your own language. You can make your own little symbols that have your meaning. And when you evoke or whatever you try to do, you using this language. And guess what? You telling somebody else to use this language or to say this language, you don't know what they made that language for and what that language represents. And you out here talking about you praying in Hebrew. That Lashawan Quadash ain't no goddamn Hebrew. You got you out, you don't know what you saying. You putting a goddamn spell on yourself. You doing the work for the man. We already read that. Right? Volume 2 said, I'm just going to skip through it. Formulas, because I'm going to get to this, back to these Hebrew Israelites, right? Formulas of the magical Kabbalah in the 6th and 7th book of Moses, which again demonstrates seals and incantations. These said to be the magical used by Moses himself at various points in the biblical stories, such as how to turn the staff into a snake or conjure the pillar of fire. They include other incantations such as the one labeled, these words are terrible and will assemble devils or spirits, and they will cause the dead to appear. This is followed by works on only a dozen or so pages, all giving similar seals and incantations, such as the blessed plate of Moses. These include extract from the true Kafkuva Kukula of Solomon and the girdle of Aaron, the version of the key of Solomon grimoire. See? Here go the Psalms, right? And this old Mr. Nasty try to use on us. Like, curse him. If your servant or journeyman has run away from you, write this psalm together with his name on a linen or a tin plate when he will turn to you. Right? Astrology and cures. Right? Look. After law, treatise of Australia, a further section lists cures, spells, and amulets. It gives a source preceding each, such as Rabbi Yohanan said, a chief among witches told me, if you meet witches, you should utter the following charm: hot dirt and perforated baskets in your mouths, ye enchanting women. What I was saying. What I was saying, these fools will make up their own goddamn language and fool you to say the shit. Right? Now, this is something, I guess, the ward off a witch trying to do some shit to you, right? May your head become bald. May the wind blow away your breadcrumbs. May it scatter your spices. May the fresh saffron which ye have in your hands fly away, witches. So long as men were gracious to me and I was careful, I came not in your midst. Now I did, and you are not agreeable to me. See? Now, let's check this out now. Let's bust them open. Y'all. Matthew, just talk about Rabbi Matthews and the commandment keepers. Now, for those of you who don't know, before One West was called the commandment keepers, it was called the Royal Ethiopian Masonic Lodge, headed by Rabbi Matthew Wisworth, your founder of Hebrew Israelites. They all came from him. You go to Chicago, they learn from this nigga. You come from Florida, they learn from this nigga. Wherever y'all went, they learn from Rabbi Matthews Wisworth. Right? Ford learned from Rabbi Wisworth. Now, if y'all want to say, well, those ain't the first Hebrew Israelites, you got Cherry and Crowley, guess what? I got evidence that they all practice the occult too. And with Freemasons, since y'all hate Freemasons so much. So now what? What you got to stand on now, dog? What you got to stand on now? I thought the great whore and stuff gonna be led by Illuminati Freemasonry. Hey, guess what? Your founder was led by that. Uh-huh. Now look at here. Matthew was an escape artist. Not only could he become invisible, for many years, the black Israelites whom he led escape the study of scholars and repelled the efforts to understand the movement. Just like today, the news have no clue what a Hebrew Israelite is. If I'm the authority on this motherfucking shit right now, nigga. Who on the internet that can tell you more about the Hebrew Israelites besides Killer B? Go. Who on this motherfucker that can come close to the knowledge that I can share with you about this goddamn code? Who? Who on the internet right now? Nobody. Who can tell you like me? Nobody. Who can lay these niggas down? Nobody, baby. But oh, Killer B. Buck 'em all down. Buck 'em all down. Right? Let's check it out. Let me end this thing. I don't know what the hell is that shit that came on my screen. But, all right. Black Judaism successfully hid both of its origins in Pentecostal churches and its secret knowledge drawn from Freemasonry, Jewish Kabbalah, and African American conjuring, a.k.a. witchcraft. And look, I ain't lying to you, nigga. I ain't lying to you. See, Kabbalistic science and hidden theology of Black Judaism. Y'all hit me up if y'all want to know. Y'all want this PDF. I don't feel like sharing it with y'all. If y'all smart, y'all be able to get it on your own. But the people that ain't too smart and shit, y'all ain't gonna get it, right? So, all right. The micro history of that shit fucked up on my eyes. A developer of Rabbi Matthew's theology reveals how the Jewish ritual and that he presented the world was undergirded by holiness Pentecostal Christianity. So that's really what it was based off of. Because they was singing songs, they had the women all up in there. It was a totally different show, right? And magical practices. Borrowed from popular esoteric sources, this is far from the comprehensive list of Matthew's inspirations and sources. A fuller treatment would have to include Freemasonry, spiritualism, Black nationalism, and African American version of Orientalism. Yet when one combines the study of Rabbi Matthew, Black Israelism, with similar studies of Black Israelism, Black Islam, Rastafarianism, Father Divine Peace Missionary Movement, and various New Thought-based Black religion operatives in the 1920s. Right? It is possible to appreciate a remarkable wave of overlapping esoteric religious creativity that accompanied such a more famous artistic creativity of the Harlem Renaissance. Yes, indeed. y'all caught. Y'all niggas is caught, yo. And look at this here. Look at this here. I ain't lying to y'all. Now, I already did a video on this. I already did a video on when I read it right here. But I believe that it was lost in the sauce. Look, this is handwriting sigils by Rabbi Matthew Wisworth. This is handwritten by him. This is in a library in New York. Me and the brother, old school Israelite brother, we supposed to go to this library in New York and actually see this stuff firsthand. Look at the sigils he's drawing. Now, back to SOT, before I forget. SOT, shout out to SOT. SOT was the first one to mention that these motherfuckers was practicing witchcraft. There was a wallet that was lost, that was dropped at a phone booth at the school. He found it and went in there and saw it was REI's wallet. Inside the wallet had magical sigils. Inside the wallet. That was proof right there. So these niggas know this stuff in the group. These leaders know. Just like I tell y'all don't know. If y'all reading this damn, let me get off the screen for this shit, put something on y'all asses. Like this one right here. This is in the 7th book of Moses, right? See? Written by William de Lawrence, a Frenchman. Now look, see we try to duplicate it there? And they proved that he got it from this book. Because the same errors that was made in the book was the same errors that he made. I don't know what the fuck that shit is. But, yo, it's very simple. And I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Y'all keep playing with it. Christians too. I mean, get on y'all Christians behinds too. Because y'all practice the same thing up in the Pentecostal church, speaking and calling yourselves speaking in tongues and all types of craziness. Them damn Calvinists with they tulip. Well, show me a goddamn tulip in the scriptures. Another cult. All these Christian movements is all cults too. Straight up and down. I keep it funky. I keep it funky with you. The Baptist church, people catching the Holy Ghost falling out on the goddamn floor. Is you serious? Was you serious? Show me that in the scriptures. Or you running around the damn church and people got to grab you, hold your ass down. Is you serious? Who y'all think y'all fooling? And then we got them damn witches up in there, up in that damn church. Talking about they praising Jesus. Hey, let me stop.